Welcome back to Seat Time. I'm Woody, and today we're going to talk about handguards. Some of you might call them flags, some of you might call them bark busters. We're going to talk about all the different names, the different mounting options, the different options like open-ended or full wrap, why full wraps have evolved, where we started like we did back on that Can-Am in the back. I hope you guys are ready. The garage is a mess. I don't want to hear anything about it in the comments. Well, let's get started talking about handguards. So though this isn't a bark buster from back in the 70s and early 80s, it is closest to what they used back in the day. A couple updates is the shape that it has because of the bend that happens in bars these days, and then of course the way that they have the clamps come down underneath the cables. That way you can have a little bit of adjustability with your lever placement. Before we go too far down the rabbit hole, this guard that they have that attaches to the handguard can come in multiple sizes. In this KTM version, which is really just a white labeled MSR or Enduro engineering product, can come in different sizes. Now, they choose to have just the one size, but other manufacturers have larger ones. So if you're in an area where weather is a concern, you might get a larger one because of weather. But if you're in an area where you aren't gonna have as much brush and don't want as big of a guard, you can use a smaller guard. The way that this mounts here is just a pinch bolt. What I recommend is getting a tap kit that comes with an insert. That way you can tap the handlebar and put in an insert. They also make it so it's easier to mount your handguard here into your handlebar. It will take away from some of the characteristics of your handlebar, but by getting one of the vibration dampening inserts, now they have evolved these clamps as well. Now, one thing that you have to pay attention to when it comes to these full wrap guards is that you actually use the right clamp. So this is a Rinthal bar, but it looks like my dad has actually installed them incorrectly. I needed to flip these before we did this video, but he had actually had the wrong clamp, and you can tell because there was a big hole here. If you're going to order any of the ones that are bar specific, you're going to make sure you order the ones with the correct clamps. This will be in the description, so do not quickly click a RevZilla Google ad at the top of the page when you're Googling, because it probably will be the wrong one. When I had my big boulder wreck in Colorado, a lot of people said that's why I run full wraparounds. Well, what happens with full wraparounds when you land is they can actually create a divot here, and that's why this is bending out this way. At some point in time, my dad laid it over, it bent the aluminum, and now it doesn't actually fit that well. Yeah, there's reasons to run full wraparounds for the extra protection that it garners you, but the problem can still come later on. So things like this, depending if you want it to have a tight setup, you might want to replace this or get awkward with your friends, have them come over with a 6-pack of beer and see what you guys can figure it out if you're trying to bend this back. We just talked about crashing, and if you go on KTM Talk, Vital MX forums, or any other forum out there, you're gonna see plenty of discussions about people breaking their wrist because their arm fell through here during a crash. Now, is that a concern? Yes. Is it the norm? No. But because of that, the style and shape of handguards have evolved from some companies. Here is the Cycra Pro Bend system. So you can see, instead of having the bark buster come straight across the way they have it, it actually bends down so that the wrist here at the handlebar could potentially come out this way and not get caught there in the handguard, bark buster, in the piece of metal, potentially giving you chance for a safer crash, safer exit, whatever you want to look at it. Does it work? I would assume that it does because of the fact that it happens here. Do people enjoy it? Sure. But what I think is even cooler about this system specifically is the way that they have this go to the triple clamp. So instead of it mounting to the bar to take up more bar space, this mounts here, and then that now is your top clamp on your handlebar. So that is what this system looks like this way. So not only is this how you see these guys evolving, right? The technology with these bends and the way that this now takes the place of a top clamp on your handlebar, but this is a complete system. So this piece of plastic here can come off. You can replace this with something smaller, or you could even take this end off, put this end on. So again, for more protection. So this, if it gets dinged up in a crash, boom, you replace it, you're ready to go. This guy, you want a bigger one, you want a smaller one, you just put it on there, figure it out, and move forward. It's much more of a Lego system. I like the way that these have evolved, but here's the reason that I run open-ended debris deflectors. flags or open-ended handguards have existed for a long time, but they've never been as sturdy as they are now. And that is why I tried the Enduro Engineering open-ended debris deflectors. They don't mount like the traditional moto roost deflector would, where they have a plastic arm or a composite arm or a metal arm that takes up extra space on your bar to hold a flag or a deflector. What these do is they have this awesome piece of machined aluminum that takes the place of the top cap on your brake lever, so it doesn't take up any extra bar space. It's extremely sturdy. You can tell how much I have hit the deck and I have crashed, and this thing has not done anything ridiculous. The composite back here, the plastic, has held up and been extremely sturdy, and I'm extremely happy with these. I was very nervous about going to these open-ended debris deflectors, but they've been amazing. They've worked great, and they have also, I have not smashed my fingers, surprisingly. They do give a little bit and they move, and I've hit them on different trees, but I have not smashed my fingers, which has been amazing. These are not the only open-ended roost deflectors, debris deflectors, handguards that you can get. These are the ones that I got because of the research that I did, and I thought they were gonna hold up the best. So far, they have. If you use open-ended deflectors or some other kind of roost guard that has held the test of time in off-road use, definitely talk to us about it in the comments below. If you're going to run open-ended deflectors like this, you need to make sure you put on some bar ends, and that also your throttle can move. But with these bar ends, these are the Enduro Engineering ones, but this landscape is expanding. So right now, these are the ones from Grip G Rip. So these are ones that are just a tad bit bigger than what you see on the Enduro Engineering ones, but then they have these, which are 1/2 inch. So if you want to run something a little bit longer, if you like to have your finger kind of hang off of the edge and want a little bit more bar length, they've got these longer ones. So Grip coming out with expanding the bar end market just a little bit more. Definitely some options for you to look into when you are thinking about running open-ended handguards. And there you have it. The reason I run the open-ended debris deflectors by Enduro Engineering, why Barkbusters exist, why you can see the different shapes that have evolved throughout time. What do you use? Why do you use it? What decisions have you made? Help others who find this video by putting all of that in the comments below. Of course, if you'd like to support Seat Time, you can do that at shop.seattime.co. Thanks for tuning in. Give it a like, give it a subscribe. If we don't get a chance to see you on the trail, we'll see you on the internet. Enjoy getting seat time. Peace. Oh, oh, there went my race.